What's up guys, welcome to Graffiti TV. You're here with Kato and I'm going to show you how to master bubble letters. In graffiti we call this type of writing throw up, or throwies for short, and it's one step up from doing a simple tag and one step below doing a piece, which is, a well thought out, structured kind of thing with a lot more detail, a lot more layers. The idea of doing a throw up is getting something really bold up that's quick, that you can do fast, really nice fluid motion. The idea would be to be able to do one of these and quite fast. Do it on the go. You can do it just as an outline. If you've got a bit more time, you can do an outline with some 3D, or you can do an outline, fill it in, outline it again and put another 3D on it, make it look really bold. So that's what I've done with this. I've given it a fill in, an outline and a 3D. And I just wanted to go over some key aspects of making some nice bubble letters. And there's no one way to do this, but there is a common way that's kind of been passed down through generations of graffiti, and a lot of those elements are present in these letters that I've done here. I've added my own style to them, but a lot of these elements are not mine. They're just something that have existed in graffiti for a long time. So it's good to kind of absorb these things, take them on board, and then just put them back out there in your own way. Everything's been done before, you can just try and tweak it a bit, you know what I mean? And some of those elements are, I'd say one of the most important ingredients is having really nice full letters, something that looks nice and plump and juicy. So in order to do that, leaving no empty space within the letter, like within the dots of the E, the D, whatever letters have a hole or a dot in the middle of them, it makes it look like it's really full and it's squished all of the space out of that hole in the middle. So some people like to do letters like that. It looks kind of like a cloud or like a blob. I'd say a bubble, like if it was a soap bubble, there's no real opportunity for that kind of thing to happen. Say these letters look more like bubbles because they're full in this complete kind of bubble nature. You can still do this kind of thing in the middle, but it'll give it a whole different style. I think for throw-ups, they look nice when they're really tight. You can do something different in the center here. You can do little stars, you can do a little line. The sky's the limit, just put whatever the hell you want to put in there. And so that keeps them looking nice and full. Another element, on the same topic of keeping them nice and full, certain letters are a bit more forgiving, like that C. That doing it in that kind of style is similar to like how Cope 2, he's one of the kings, how he does his C's. You can get away with it looking still really nice and plump as well. But you just kind of want to keep a bit of consistency throughout. So if you choose to do something like that, I would do it again on the G, I would just keep that theme kind of running. You always want your letters to have some rhythm and some continuity to them. It's like a beat. You want to have, this steady rhythm, something that pulls you into it. Otherwise, if it's all over the place, it can be a little bit hard to understand and hard to lead the eye through your piece, your tag, your throwy, whatever you may be working on. What I've done with the C's and the E's and a lot of these other things that are overlapping is I've just done a line that's overlapping. I haven't made any empty space in there, and again, that makes it look like the letters are really swollen and they're just like started crowding the space and pushing, and all the sides are touching each other. You'll see some other things in there that are like continuing. Something that's really common in throw-ups is this kind of thing. That's a good way of showing two overlapping pieces that are still bubbled. Like this piece here is obviously pushing out in front of this piece here. Just gives it a bit more interest. Some people may do it like that. I don't know, if it looks a bit weird, it's a bit two-dimensional. By doing this kind of thing, it does make it look a little more three-dimensional, pushing some elements forward and some back. Same thing with the C, the bit that has that is always your top. It's always pushed out to the front. And with the E, I've just kind of gone with a different style there. These are opportunities for you to stylize your letters and give them some attitude. You may notice the E looks a little bit more sad and dopey than the C. And you can do that, throughout all your letters. Even in the H here, I can do the same thing. With that kind of thing, again, it looks a little bit dopey, it looks a bit different. It's kind of like a little frown, some mouth. You can add some sort of emotion or some kind of attitude and character to it. You don't necessarily have to be doing bubbles the whole way through. You see in the H here, it's blocked at the top and then bubbled at the bottom. And that works as long as there's some consistency to it. There's some other letters, like the A here is really similar to the H, just basically, the top's cut up a little bit different. Same thing going on down with the M, the K, the N. I've decided to go with like block pieces for those. And as long as there's a bit of a continuity, you can really do whatever you want with the letters. Certain letters you'll find are a lot harder than others. Doing the alphabet in throw-up style X's are a real bitch. You can see by this X, it looks pretty stupid. I did that quite a few times and it still managed to look stupid. So, if you're doing throwies and you got an X in your tag, you got your work cut out for you. If you can bust that shit out and make it look fat, like, props to you. That's it's tricky. It's so balanced and so even. It's hard to really flex it. As some other letters are a lot easier to flex than that. And one good thing too, look for similarities within your letters. Obviously the R, the A, the H, the K, they have a lot of similarities. Even looking at your stuff inside out, upside down, just to kind of get different ideas. You'll see straight away I've got a new Z. Just looking at the Z upside down, I've got a new Z there. It looks a little bit more sleepy and weird. I've got a new S here, same thing, looks a little bit more sleepy and docile. I got a nice little N here. I got a nice M. That M looks really good too. Another W here, Some letters straight away they're going to read well upside down. But looking at things at all sorts of different angles will give you lots of different ideas. So that's a really good way to find out a few secret styles that you didn't know you had. You've just been doing them upside down or inside out. Another thing with bubble letters is the drop shadow for them is I find is a lot better. It's a lot more common and a lot better way to add 3D and depth to your letters than doing a defined block 3D, For one, you can do it much quicker on the fly. So if you are doing it with spray paint and you're doing it out on the street or wherever you're doing it, it's going to make it much quicker just to come back and just to put a a thicker line around the outside of your piece than coming back and drawing in this whole block section and then filling it all in. You can do that. It's just going to take you a little bit longer. But I think drop shadow looks really good for bubble letters. It makes them look like they're floating on their own, and makes them look a little bit more spherical. Because really, this isn't straight across here. It's not coming up to this edge and then dropping off. Really, what's happening is you want it to look bubbly. It wants to have a curve. All these things want to look like they have a curve. So by putting just a drop shadow around it, it helps to maintain that bubble-like quality to it. And another thing that you can do to further push that three-dimensional bubble-like shape is to, when you put shines, highlights on your piece, again, if this is all straight running up to this defined edge, then hang on, let me just put some curved ones here. If this was all straight running up to this edge, then your highlights would run right up against that edge. And that is going to give you a nice hard edge. But because it is spherical, it's not I'll give you an example here. So if you're looking at it side on, this kind of thing here, that would be a flat edge running and just dropping off. So when the light's coming in, it's coming in and just hitting that edge there. On a curved surface, a bubbly surface, it's more of a shape like that. So when the light's coming in, it's not hitting right up against the edge here, it's actually hitting a little bit further in, like this. So by doing that, it's making it look more bubbly, like this. So, you know, straight away, those letters look really shiny, glossy, and spherical and bubble-like. So that's one really good way to make that look more shiny, glossy. Doing different thicknesses is going to give you a different effect too, as to how glossy it is and what kind of light source you have as well. But you know, if you're using the same spray can for the whole thing, it'll probably end up looking pretty similar. New York fat caps are really nice to do throw-ups with. Any kind of fat caps are really good too. They're going to do a really good job. I'll be sure to do a video soon with real life throwies and show you some techniques and stuff for how to throw them down. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You can always come back and you know, throw an aura around your letters as well if you really want to make them pop, if you got time, you know. And that's just another little step. Depends on how much time you've got. If you're doing it on the fly, or you know, if you're in a rush, or you want to spend a little bit more time, you can always add a bit more to them. But yeah, that's pretty much bubble letters in a nutshell. Have a look at all the letters here, see what you think. If you got any questions about anything I've done here, you want me to go into more detail about anything, just leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to answer you and try and incorporate it into further videos. If you like what I'm doing here, give me a thumbs up, and hit the subscribe button if you want to start seeing more of this stuff. I'll be putting out videos regularly, hopefully every week, maybe more. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. Peace.